All right. If you are in your 20s or 30s, chances are you wrestled with the age-old question, what is my purpose? It's the kind of question that shakes people to their core, causing them to question their jobs, their relationships, their habits, their lifestyle, and even spiral into an existential crisis. Because deep down, we all carry this hope that once I find my purpose, everything will finally make sense. But here's the truth. I believe the way the church has taught purpose has done more harm than good. It's left many of us confused, frustrated, and chasing something that was never been meant to be so complicated. When it comes to purpose, I've been lost personally. I've been confused, but I believe that I found the answers and I've really discovered who I am. And after years of studying, teaching, and helping thousands of others through this topic, I'm here with my co-hosts, Poya and Jess, to finally break it down. And we're going to be clearing up the confusion, challenging the myths, and giving you a clear, grounded strategy to discover your God-given purpose without all the fluff, pressure, or hype. Ready or not, let's get into it. All right. So the first kind of topic I want to get into is why people, especially Christians, obsess with this question. So a 2018, I only did this because of you, Jess, because you like bringing in the studies and stuff. A 2018 Harvard study titled The Power of Purpose found that 89% of people under 30 say finding purpose is very important to them. But the same study shows only 30% say they actually have a clear sense of purpose.
Wow.
So this gap obviously creates inner conflict and obsession. But here's the question I'll throw to you guys. Why do you think people, especially Christians, obsess with this question about what's my purpose?
I actually think most Christians are afraid of getting it wrong.
Why is that?
There's this immense pressure to get it right. Well, because sin, they're very aware of sin, and they're aware of like calling, words like calling, and you are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. The parable of the talents makes you feel like, oh my gosh, is God getting a good ROI on me?
Oh,
I always think
yeah,
that.
yeah. Got
Well
you,
done,
got
my
you.
good faithful servant, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or am I producing good fruit? Am I attached to the John 15? Am I attached to the vine?
Right.
Like I think there's all this, and it's good. I think it's a good, healthy pressure that we have as spiritual people,
Yeah.
as God's chosen ones, to get it right.
Yes.
However,
Right.
I think this is where I have, for want of a better word, capitalized on the Christian anxiety.
Right.
Because I'm a big believer in
Yeah.
learning and experimentation and
Right.
being not afraid of getting it wrong. Because I
Right.
think getting it wrong is the lesson. And then it's the continual getting out there, trying again until you get it right. Like many iterations until you get it right, which is probably my entrepreneurial spirit.
Yep. Yep.
But I think a lot of Christians they just really want to be effective and produce good fruit and want to get it right the first time.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that because honestly, I didn't think of that at all. That it's also coming from a place of selflessness, a place of like, hey, I'm a Christian and I want to get it. I want to give God a good ROI. I want to make sure that I'm being the best I can.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. What about you, Poya? What do you think?
I had a thought. Thought came to me. As they always do.
Cooking. I'm ready for this cook.
I'm
I'm ready.
Christians are very aware of sin, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I think one strong element of living in sin is a meaningless pleasure. And so as Christians, we're heavily discouraged from just pursuing pleasure for pleasure's sake.
Right.
Yep.
Therefore, what do? We don't want to. We want to do something. We can't do that. So what do? We have to find purpose. Otherwise, we just do nothing. We just wallow. Because
Right.
people who don't look for purpose, what do they normally do?
They
Pleasure.
end up addictions.
Addiction.
Yeah.
Isn't that's the same?
Hedonism.
Yeah.
Hedonism.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So true.
either you be a hedonist, which is to live in sin, which no Christian, which pretty much most Christians don't want to do. They're
Yeah.
trying to put sin to death. Or you go for the alternative. You try to figure out purpose. Because otherwise, what are you living for? What are you living? You're just existing. You're just like, all right, cool. I'm going to work, come back from work, sit in my little suburban prison, in my car, go into the home, deal with the kids and the wife. Like, what are you, what are you actually living for? There's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so And I think a lot of addicts, from my experience knowing addicts and just from what I've heard on podcasts with other addicts, I guess, just in general, right? And what's that saying? It's those who want to numb pain. What's the saying you always say? Numb pain.
He who has no meaning in his life distracts himself with useless pleasures.
Yeah. And so that's what happens. A lot of addicts are people who
Viktor
don't have
Frankl?
purpose.
Yeah.
Viktor Frankl, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of, when you don't have purpose, you just,
Yeah.
that's, yeah. I feel like I just went around in circles, but that's it. That's
No. It's actually really true. I really like your perspectives, guys, because you actually came from a completely different perspective. Like one of, it's about, finding a purpose, finding meaning, and also giving God a return on ROI. And I think now when I take that into consideration, I feel like that's definitely part of the answer. Something that I was reflecting on is this is what I found so far. Look, people, a lot of people in general, especially Christians, they're dissatisfied with their lives, right? So, they don't know whether they should go to uni, which uni they should go, what they should study, what job they should have, who they should date. And I feel like people have some idea that if they find their purpose, all of those things become clear. All of their life questions, become clear if they find their purpose. And they look at everybody else, maybe on social media or whatever, and they go, oh, well, they seem happy, and they seem to have it all figured out, and the missing link must be purpose. This is kind of my theory, right? And they hear these phrases, and I think this is a big thing because you mentioned that in the Christian church, there's a lot of lingo around that you're finding your calling and all that kind of stuff. I think that people are dissatisfied, don't know what they should do. Everyone else sees happy, and you hear these phrases in media: find yourself, find your purpose, find your calling. Like
no pressure.
Yeah.
Find yourself.
but find yourself. Wait,
you go to South America, you take some ayahuasca with a shaman.
Yeah.
Then
Go
you
to
start
Machu
Apple.
Picchu, yeah.
Eat, pray, love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah. I despise Eat, Pray, Love, by the way. Anyway.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's not go there. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
That's another episode.
I feel like that's definitely an episode there. Cool. So you hear these, these phrases, and then you end up coming to the conclusion that purpose must be the answer. People are dissatisfied, don't know what they do to their life. Everyone else is happy, and everyone's saying the answer is finding yourself, being yourself, discovering who you are, finding your purpose, finding what you love. So that must be the answer. So I personally feel like it ends up being a big burden for Christians that they need to find their purpose, and I do feel sorry for them. Now, this is where I want to go into the next topic, which is this is what I find. The common teaching about purpose in church, this is what I find, is to be like Jesus. So you hear a preaching, and basically the whole summary of the sermon, I'm simplifying, is just you got to be like Jesus.
No pressure, but just be like
Just
Jesus.
be like Jesus. Just be like Jesus. So I actually, look, this is my perspective. I feel like there is a lot of truth in that, and I genuinely believe that is our purpose. I do believe that's part of it. But I don't think this is the answer that people are genuinely looking for, because they're looking for an answer that helps them determine their careers, their life partners, why they feel down, what they should do in life, what they should focus on, what they should give their energy to, what their interests are. So this is why I feel like saying your purpose, a better question than, hey, what's my purpose, is what's my unique purpose? What's the purpose uniquely for me, right? And I'll throw it to you guys. Like, what do you guys think when you hear the term, my purpose is to be like Jesus?
Stupid.
Right.
Dumb.
Wow.
Just like,
Say more.
it's stupid, it's dumb, it's broad, it's, what's the word? It's a platitude.
Yeah.
It's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
Don't say that to me. Go
Yeah.
away. Leave me alone. I'm having flashbacks to uni.
Oh,
Christian group. Triggered. In all, yeah, it's just stupid. It's honestly, what does that mean? Be like Jesus. What? Grow a beard. Live in the desert.
Yeah.
Like die at 33.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Go heal people.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the core. I think what really is the distinction here is character should be like Jesus. I think really that's what we want to say. That's one element of purpose. So
Yes.
I was thinking this as you were saying. I think purpose is different elements. You have career purpose. You have family purpose. So for example, some people called to singleness. That's part of their purpose, is to be single.
Wow.
Some people called to marriage, such as both of you, hopefully me.
Yep.
Amen. Amen.
And being parents, right? So that's one part of your purpose, not your whole purpose, right? Then you have career, and I think this is where I think of the parable of the talents, which how's it go again? There's a king who gives a bunch of servants different talents.
Yeah.
3 servants.
3 servants.
Yeah. The first he gave 10 bags of gold. The second he gave 5 bags of gold. And the last he gave, I think, 1 bag of gold.
Yes.
Yeah. And the first 2 gave great ROI, like double the amount. And the last servant felt afraid, so he buried it in the ground. And didn't even put it in the bank so he could gain a little bit of an interest. He just buried it in the ground.
Yeah.
And then he got cast away. Sorry. Yeah.
No. Thank you, Jess. High five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes in the movie, great movie, The A Bronx Tale, directed and by Robert De Niro, also starring him. There's this great quote where Robert De Niro's character says to his son, "The saddest thing in life is wasting talent." And I think of that parable because I think a lot of Christians do what that guy did, where they just hide the talent and they don't bring that ROI because they're scared. They're scared to make mistakes. They forget that they have a God who loves them, that will direct their steps if they ask him.
Yeah.
So how this all relates is that I think that answer of just be like Jesus is literally what that guy is doing. You're actually hiding the talent and you're not taking risks because it's safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It can mean whatever you want it to mean.
Yeah.
I think what's braver is saying, ask God where to direct your steps. Where do I go? What should I do? Ask people around you. What do you think I'm good at?
Yep.
Your purpose is to serve God, to glorify Him. That's part of your purpose. But how you do that is, I think that's the thing. The question is the how. How do we do that? So maybe let me phrase that. The purpose is to serve God, to spread the gospel, right? And to shape your character to be like Jesus. Then the real question is the how. And I think that's the purpose. The purpose is the how.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that.
Specificity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yes, our ultimate purpose is to serve God in the best way that we can. But the question is how? Like what does that look like for us? And I do believe that whatever the answer really is to this question, which we're going to unpack in a second, is going to be a very helpful answer for who's my partner, who should I hang out with, who's my friend group, what career should I choose. I'm very, very excited to share that there is a topic that's going to give us so much clarity, and it's basically values, which I talk about a lot. Before I start this topic, I want to say this little quote here. Your purpose is not your destiny, right? Your destiny may be some point at the end where you will end up in your life, right? Your purpose is in the here and now. And I think sometimes what Christians will do is because they're looking at someone else on a stage, or they're looking at someone else, the end product of what they're doing, and they will dissociate from where they're at because they don't like where they're at in life, and then they will hope that there is some sort of destiny that's bigger or greger for them instead of honoring where they currently are in their life right now, right? This is what I find. So as an example, see, one of the last big things that Arnold Schwarzenegger did was he was the governor of California, right? But I don't think he woke up as a baby and just knew that he was to be the governor of California. I think his purpose in the moment was to go to the army, and then his purpose or his compass made him feel like he needs to go into bodybuilding, and then from bodybuilding into movies, and then from movies into being the governor, right? So the purpose is in the here and now. It's what you're having right now, what your values are showing you right now. And if you follow that, that leads you to your life, right? So purpose is in the here and now. And I think Christians should honor what is in the here and now. So the question is this. Now I'm going to kind of throw it to you guys. So if that's what purpose is not, it's not your destiny, it's in the here and now. What do you guys think purpose is? How would you actually define purpose?
That's really good. I used to teach a group of female entrepreneurs purpose workshops. Mainly to do with nailing your niche.
Okay.
It wasn't called nailing your niche. It was called something else. It was through another company. But basically, it was the intersection between passion. So what do you love doing? What problem do you love solving? Skill. So what are you good at? What comes easily to you? And market need. So where is the need? Who can you serve? What audience requires service in that moment for you.
Yep.
And so for me, I would teach these workshops and be like, and this is how I became a dating coach. And this is how I'm teaching other women how to be entrepreneurs and all this kind of stuff. But I found it really clarifying because some people are really good at, I don't know, baking cupcakes. And they go, oh, that's nothing. It just comes, oh, this is just something I do. Or I'm just really good at admin, but admin's nothing. I'm like, admin is not nothing. I'm terrible at admin. You know, I need somebody who's good at admin. So sometimes people are really good at a thing and they sort of discard it or they don't place value on it because they think it's nothing. It's like, it's not being the governor of California or acting in movies. So therefore they place a lower value on it. But actually, there are so many people who conflate, I guess, purpose with making money or purpose with glamour.
I like this.
Or prestige.
Yep.
But purpose is just about the service of others.
I love
really
that.
At the end of the day. And what gives it legs and longevity is if you really enjoy being in that purpose all the time.
Yeah.
So this is why, again, like just using myself as an example, but even if I didn't get paid for it, I would still be a stay-at-home mom. I'd have 5 kids if my husband would let me.
Yeah.
But I would have 5 kids.
Yeah.
And I would just take calls constantly from my single friends and I would give them dating advice.
Yeah.
I would do that because I love solving relational problems.
Yep.
That is just what I enjoy doing. So I know it's my purpose.
Yeah.
And it's one of my purposes because my other purpose is to be a mother and
Yeah.
I love raising my children.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about the service of others at the end of the day. That's what I believe.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I love that you also put it in a way where you also shared that it's not just about making money.
Yeah.
Most of the time you can monetize it, and probably a lot of people do monetize it,
And it's
but it doesn't
wise
have to be.
And it's wise to. Yeah.
So there's a great story about how someone came up to one of my mentors and said, "I can't find my purpose. I don't really know what it is. I don't think I have one." And he said, "No, you do have one. You're just not looking close enough."
Yeah.
And he asked for a couple of questions. He dug deep, and what he discovered was he asked her, like, "What do you love to do?" "Oh, well, I'm always with my kids." "You know, what do you like to focus on?" "Oh, you know, always looking after the kids and doing this." "And what do you love about that?" "Oh, I love this about this kid. Loves it." And then what she found was her purpose was to be a mother.
Yeah.
But what she was doing was she was looking at everybody else going,
comparing
they're doing
herself.
this, they're making money, they're focusing on this, they're focusing on that. And, you know, you now start getting really clouded in your mind as to what your purpose is. And a lot of Christians do this because we go to these places where we see people on stages and we get this idea that our purpose is supposed to look like that. And that's what conflates and confuses us in regards to our idea of what our purpose truly is. There's a really great quote that he shares, really great story one of my mentors shares about talking about someone who just knew what she was dedicated to, feeding the children, teaching the children, and she was so consistent with doing that. She was so consistent with looking after them, giving them food, teaching them history, and these were eventually the children that became, the Roosevelt family.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Gives me goosebumps literally when I think about this.
Yeah.
So it's like people don't understand if they just do what's in front of them, that what God has given them, some of the most extraordinary fruits come out of it that you might not even be aware of right now. You know what I mean?
That moves me.
Yeah.
That really moves me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. It's true.
Yes.
It really does.
Yep. 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 And I hope this is a message for a lot of people that they don't feel like, and it's hard with social media now. You look at all the social media and you think, oh, this is supposed to be a purpose. Oh, I'm supposed to run a business. Oh, I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. Oh, I'm supposed to look like Andrew Tate. Whatever it is, right? and people just get so confused on what God has actually given them right now. And I'm going to get into this in a second. But before I jump into that, Poya, what's your thoughts on what purpose actually is?
I feel like I kind of touched on in my previous answer where I think what I said was purpose is really the how.
Yep.
In a Christian context.
Yep.
And it's the how. How do I bring glory to God? How do I shape a character that mirrors that of Jesus?
Yep.
And how do I spread the gospel? That's my definition. But what you just said, the phrase compound interest popped in my head, and it, tying it back to the talents. It's like you do what's in front of you, and then you're given more. Compounds.
Yep.
And you have more fruit. You have more of an impact.
Yep.
So you start off, say, at church, just on the welcome team, greeting people.
Yeah.
Then, you start leading a welcome team. Then maybe you lead a growth group.
Yeah.
Who knows where it goes from there.
Yeah.
You start out as a junior grad at Deloitte.
Yeah.
What I can say now is move your way up, become a manager, general manager, maybe even a partner. Even more. The more you put in, the more risk you take.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
More responsibility you're
compounds.
given. Yeah.
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 No, I like that point, and I think I really like to bring it back to the whole idea of talents. I do genuinely believe that God has given us talents, and we are to do something
Yes.
with it. And I believe this is where the idea of purpose and talent comes in. So I'm going to give you my definition of purpose, something I've been studying for years now. So how I would title this is purpose is not woo-woo. Purpose is a real phenomenon.
Yeah.
So here's now when I'm going to get into a bit of teaching mode. Every human being has a set of priorities that is unique to them. Every human being. For me, my highest values or priorities is teaching personal development. I love that more than anything. It is second is business growth, then health and fitness, and then Christianity. Oh, so probably family and then Christianity, right? Family and relationships and then Christianity. Those are my priorities in life. Okay. Now, Poya, you got your own. Jess, you got your own. Everyone has a specific set of unique priorities to them. Here's where it gets interesting. And we also have low priorities. So, Jess, maybe health and fitness and going to the gym is maybe not a high priority as children, obviously, for you, right? Maybe for you, Poya, I don't know, like chores and stuff or cleaning is not a very high priority
Thank
to
you,
you.
Kevin, for publicly announcing it.
Publicly shaming me. Don't worry, I'm in the same boat.
No, I've been
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
I'm in the same boat. So cleaning and chores is not a very, very high value to me, okay? So here's what I want. I want every single human being to understand. Every human being has a set of values. Whatever is a high value to you, you are more internally inspired, you're more focused, you're more disciplined, more consistent, more organized, more fulfilled, more resilient. Whatever is a low value to you, you're less internally inspired, which means you need more reminders. You're less focused, which means you're more distracted. You're less disciplined, which means that you procrastinate more. You're less consistent, which means you're more inconsistent. You're less organized, which means there's more chaos. Less fulfilled, which means there's a lack of fulfillment. And you're less resilient, meaning more frustration. So I'll give you an example of how this actually really plays out. So every human being has their own set of values. Whatever is a high value to you, you are more internally inspired. So the question is, what's the difference between being internally inspired and externally motivated? See, no one needs to tell a kid to wake up in the morning and to play his video games. Okay? He's internally inspired to play his video games. He needs reminders and alarms to go and do his chores, right? So there's a very, very clear example when we're internally inspired to do something. And we've all had a situation, you'll notice there's all an area in our lives. Maybe for you, Jess, it's the cardio machine. Maybe for me, it's doing the cleaning. For Poya, it's whatever Poya's is, right? There's areas where we will always say, I love to, I get to, I did. I guarantee when it comes to your children, you'll say, I love to, I get to, I did. When it comes to teaching personal development, I will always find a way. I'll always get it done. But there's always areas in our life that we will say something like, I forgot to, I didn't get around to it. Oh yeah, I got to put that in the calendar, or I'll do this. It'll happen next time. We always should ourselves, but we never end up doing those things. So what's really interesting is, so many people listening will say, I'm a procrastinator. But what they don't understand is they procrastinate very differently according to the area of their lives. Because I promise you, the way that Poya shows up when he is planning a movie or Superman or something, it's unbelievable.
I'm actually on time.
It's bro. He's
100%
on
focus.
time. He's coordinating. He's the people to come to the cinema. Everything's organized. I'm like, that would be chaos for me. Organize all the tickets. Where we're gonna come. What time he shows up. He knows everything.
I'd be
and
very
it's something.
stressed.
Yeah, I'd be stressed, right? But for him, he needs to find a way to make it happen because it's very important to him. It's a very important area to him, right? But in other areas of his life, I've seen Poya at times. We're best mates. We see each other all the time. I'll be like, oh man, I didn't get around to this. I didn't get around to that, and vice versa for me. When it comes to me running a workshop or a session or something, you see, Poya, how unbelievably organized I am. Other areas of my life, oh man, I didn't get to this, man, I'm sorry. So this is the way people actually are, right? So another example is this is I remember, when it comes to discipline, I remember I had a friend of mine, and I always used to, there's a period where we were just like really, really close. We saw each other almost every single week. And for 4 years that we were hanging out, I bought him a birthday present every single year, right? And not one of those years did he remember my birthday. Not once, right? Not once. And I was definitely salty about it, right?
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, no, it's not you. It's not you. It's not you. And I was definitely salty about it. But here's what's really interesting. All of a sudden, this same friend, he gets into a relationship. And for every single month, for 6 months straight, he gets this girl a present, an anniversary monthly present for her. Okay? Now, here's another thing. This guy, this is one of my friends, he's always late everywhere he goes, right? But all of a sudden, okay, I remember when we were all at a boys' trip, he's like, I got to go leave early. And we're like, you leaving early? Why are you leaving early? Oh, I need to get somewhere on time. You leaving early to get somewhere on time? Where are you going? Oh, I got to go pick up my missus from the airport. What's going on? So now I start asking myself this question. Why is it in one dynamic like friendship, this guy is not disciplined, not consistent, doesn't remember anything, but all of a sudden when it comes to an area that's very important to him, like relationships, he is so disciplined. He is so consistent. He is so focused. How could that be possible?
Yeah.
Right? So once again, everyone's got a priority. In your highest values, you're more consistent, focused, disciplined. In your lower values, you're less so.
Yeah.
So as an example, when it comes to cleaning, I am not consistent when it comes to cleaning at all. But I'm very consistent when it comes to showing up on my business. Very consistent when it comes to teaching personal development, running workshops, right? So another last example I'll give here, and then I'll kind of take it to you guys in a second, is the moment that there's a little bit of trouble with cleaning, there's two vacuum cleaners we have. One is kind of like the manual one I have to use, and one is this kind of like robot vacuum cleaner. You just click it. And I remember when me and Lisa were like just arguing about, man, I'm not doing the cleaning. And one day she just, I just caved in and said, okay, I've got to do this cleaning. And she says to me, she goes, okay, go clean. And I was excited. I was like, yay, I can just go and press this robot vacuum cleaner. And I was so excited to do that. And all of a sudden she says, no, babe, you can't use this one because it's screwed up. You got to use the proper one. And all the excuses come out. No, I can't do this, babe. I can't do this. No, this happened. Just because of a little bit of an obstacle. But here's the interesting thing. When it comes to my business, it doesn't matter what the obstacle is. If I need to stay up 8 hours to prepare for a client, I will do it. If I need to drive for ages and ages, I will find a way to do it.
Wow.
So this is the thing. This is what I want everyone listening to understand. Jess, there are areas in your life where you will find a way to do it. Like you will find a way to do it. You're disciplined, you're consistent, you're focused. Same with you, Poya. But there's areas in your life, it's dependent on the areas where you are not. It's completely different. So here is my kind of understanding of this. If there is an area, if you can go right up to the ladder and there's an area where you are the most inspired, most disciplined, most focused, right? Most socially confident, and that's another one, right? But if there's an area which has all of that, basically what that means is there is an area in your life where you are at your best.
Yeah.
That is your purpose.
Yeah.
Your purpose is your highest value and how you experience the highest value. My highest value is teaching personal development. Here's where it gets interesting when you bring in the whole God component and coming back to the talents. I believe each one of the highest values that God has given us are the talents. And I believe that this is an interesting thing. With every one of our talents, we got two options. Do I use these talents for myself? Do I use personal development just for my own fame and making money and building my own lifestyle, my own ego? Or can I use personal development, teach personal development, but lead people to God through it? Same with you, Jess, right? You run a business where you're teaching, you're empowering people to find partners. You could do it from a perspective of, it's just for me. But you're doing it from a perspective of it's godly, it's Christian, and you're bringing a kingdom component into it. Yeah. So I believe that every human being has a set of priorities, and their highest value, which is automatically where they are the best in every one of those areas, is their purpose.
Yeah.
That's
a bar. I totally agree with that, and it also makes it a lot more palatable, less intimidating.
Yeah.
and doable, just so doable. Because again, it's divorced from prestige or glamour. It's just, what problem do I enjoy solving? What's in my hand? How can I serve other people?
Yep.
And might I say, serving other people feels really good.
Yep.
Making someone else's life better feels really good. At least to me, it feels really good. It's like, oh, I'm not completely useless and irrelevant. Like I can make an impact on someone else's life, even in a small way.
Yep.
I would feel the same if my purpose was to be a chef. Like, I do love cooking. I
Yeah.
think cooking and baking. Kevin ran a values workshop with some of my dateability girls, and I was like, whoa, baking and cooking is like number 2 value for me. How did that happen? It was really, it was actually above dating coaching. But my son's birthday party is this weekend, and I'm baking so many different elements, and I'm so excited for it. Like, it's going to be stressful because there's lots to do, but I'm like, I'm going to really enjoy doing that.
Yep. Yep. And I think what's cool about that is it doesn't just show us like those high values, you know, what you're good at. It shows also what you enjoy as well. So think about it. If God has given you something now, there's an area in your life where you're most disciplined, focused, you enjoy it the most, you're most organized, you're most consistent, you're most fulfilled, you love talking about it, you're resilient. That's got to be your purpose.
Yeah.
How would God give you that and just be like, yeah, but that's not your purpose?
Yeah. That's a bit mean.
Yeah, that's a bit mean.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tease.
Yeah,
isn't it?
God is, and you know, the beautiful thing about it is, what I love about this is God has given us those values, which is automatically in the way that we have the most enjoyment, and we get to serve God with it, and we get to serve God with it, but we actually have so much fun doing it too.
Yeah. That's
Right?
so true. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the beauty. That's the beautiful thing about this. And what I also sometimes I really kind of enjoy about this is people sometimes, a lot of Christians will be like, oh, it's not about enjoyment, and I really don't like that because they're talking about a completely different thing. They're talking about pleasure. Pleasure is instant gratification. Pleasure is addiction.
Yeah.
Pleasure is, oh, I'm doing what feels good. Purpose has such an authentic tinge to it.
Yeah.
It's in its own completely different class.
And also, pleasure's in a vacuum, isn't it? It's divorced from serving people.
Yes.
Whereas purpose is
wow.
pleasure and service combined.
Yes.
I would say.
I've never heard that frame before. That's a great frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true.
Wow.
Can I
Pleasure's
just?
in a vacuum.
I do come from. Okay, because I have the type of personality, actually probably the same as you guys, but I have the type of personality where I was given a brief, like say at school, I was given a brief, and I was like, how can I deviate from this brief and just be more interesting than everyone else? You're like, you know, your English narrative essay that you have to write for class is about dogs. I'm like, how can I write about a person that wants to be a dog? Like I'd try to be really different and interesting, and to the point that I drove myself crazy. Anyway, my point being is that I had a purpose thrust upon me by my family of origin, and then I spent ages just trying to resist it. And I phrase it this way: I'm too selfish to allow someone else to give me my purpose except God, because God knows me best. He's the one who designed me. He's the one who created me. So I'm going to go to the source, who is my Father in heaven, who my creator, and go, what is my purpose, Lord? Because I'm only going to be convinced by what you say.
Yeah.
And fancy that. I'm very happy with my life because I feel like I am in the will, purpose and will of God, and it's amazing. But I also I don't feel guilty for taking pleasure in serving people in a way that gives me pleasure either.
Yeah.
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 Question for you.
Yeah. For
I'm
sure.
thinking of, it's a long time since I've read Frida Kahlo's biography. Do you know Frida Kahlo, that Mexican icon? Yes, the monobrow.
That's all I know about Frida Kahlo.
And she's famous for all her artwork. But I think she was heading towards a different direction. Maybe like she wanted to be a dancer or something, or she wanted to be some other type of artist. And then she was in that horrible bus accident, and she was bedbound for ever or something, and so she became a painter as a result of that.
Yeah, wow.
So what do you say to the people who they're sort of like, okay, right now you're like, my top value is teaching personal development. What if you couldn't speak ever again? You're in this horrific accident.
Oh, great. That's a very great question.
And you couldn't speak ever again. So what would you do?
That's a very, very, very good and tough question. Here's what I've noticed, right? I have never seen an example, and maybe it's there, but so far, I've never seen an example where someone gets into some sort of situation where they don't have a value that they are able to indulge in. I've never seen that. So, for example, let's just say, Frida Kahlo, she got into an accident. She found another value.
Yeah.
And it's almost spiritual thing about values. You always stumble across some other value where you can actually get involved in it.
Yeah.
So, for example, I can't, let's just say I break my legs, right? So I can't run workshops anymore. I'll write books. You know what I mean? Or
You could run them in wheelchairs.
I run them in wheelchairs. You know what I mean? Coach in a wheelchair. That'll be my niche for disabled people. No. So I've never seen an example where someone that isn't able to indulge in or experience their highest values. I've just never seen
Basically
it.
pivot.
Yeah, basically
people can
pivot.
Yeah.
Because I find either they pivot in their value
Yeah.
or their value changes. Because now that creates a new void. And that's another thing. Values come from voids. So you'll often find someone who has a high value on finance because in
They
their
grew up
childhood
poor.
they grew up poor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now they are, doing really well financially because they grew up poor, and that void creates a value in which they take action on finances till they actually become, more financially successful. But yeah, Poya, what were you going to say?
No, I think you already answered. I was going to say with Frida Kahlo, it just seems like she pivoted. So in a way, could you say the root value was creative expression?
Yeah.
Went from
that's
dancing
true.
to painting. So it's I guess you kind of cover that. That's
Yeah.
the thought that popped up.
No. But that's a very, very good question. And your values do change. They can change from time to time. But yeah, just to kind of wrap that part with a bow, every human being has a set of priorities, and you can find that. If you look very carefully at your life, and there's actually a really specific step-by-step test you can do, which shows you what your values are. But I'm going to go into this a little bit more deeper now.
Wow.
Okay.
So other facts about values is your purpose is ideally how you want to experience your highest value. And if you ask someone who they are, most of the time they will just automatically tell you highest values. So if we look at Brad Pitt and we say, Brad Pitt, who are you? He'll say, and I'm an actor, right? Which is his value. And if you look at, someone who maybe she's a mother, but her highest value is business, you ask her what she is, she'll say, I'm a businesswoman. But if you find a businesswoman who's also a mother and you say, who are you? She'll say, I'm a mother. So, and I found that was the case with you. You'll always say, I'm a mother first. Like you've always said that to me, right?
Yeah.
So people can also be told by their values. Your identity of who you are revolves around what you actually value most. So just to kind of tie that part with a bow. But this is where I want to get more specific now and actually give a lot more examples. So now the question is, okay, so what? I know my purpose, which is basically our highest value. Everyone has a set of values. So what? Here's so what. So now think about this. You can now choose your career based on your values. When I was at my previous company, in my sales company, I loved it. There was a period of time where I loved sales. I was so into it. But all of a sudden, I just stopped loving it anymore. And I started finding all these reasons why I didn't want to be there. And I started bitching about this person and I don't like this person. I don't like the boss and all these colleagues. But what actually happened, even though I was getting frustrated, because a lot of people, they get frustrated where they are. But what's actually happened was my values changed.
What happened?
My values started going towards coaching and personal development. So while I was frustrated at my company of sales, I was looking up personal development. I was looking up videos of Tony Robbins. So what that told me was my values have changed. So I needed to follow my values.
Yeah.
Right. And then my values then went to, now I ended up doing coaching from that. And now I'm doing what I do now. And that's the thing. There was a point in my life where sales was actually high value to me. Does that make sense? So there was probably points in your life, Jess, or points in your life, Poya, where your values were completely different things at different times. And it kind of changes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then there could also be themes in your values that haven't changed. The theme for me has always kind of been personal development, right? I don't know what it's been for you guys. So that's career. So values help you understand what career that you can choose.
Okay.
All right. The next thing is how purpose now helps you choose your friends. So purpose helps you choose your career because my highest values tell me what I should do. Business, teaching personal development, health and fitness. So now I look at my life and that's exactly what I do. I wake up, I go to the gym, I do health and fitness, and then I run my business and I do teaching and I create content and I run my business and grow my business. So it really tells you how your life should be and what you should focus on in your life. Now your friends, this is where it gets really, really interesting. What you will notice is the friends that you love the most are the friends that you share the most values with.
Yep.
So me and Poya, he's my best mate. We share movies. We share personal development. We share Christianity, right? We share music, Rufus recently, right? What you'll find is you look at any one of your friends, and basically what you'll find is the more values that you have in common with them, the more closer you feel to them, full stop. Full stop. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
And here's what's really interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a lot of conflicts online. This is the content that goes viral all the time online.
Yeah.
People feel hurt by people, or, this friend, we just don't click anymore. Like, he just doesn't get me anymore. Behind all of that, what's simply happening is their values changed. So for me, I used to hang around a lot with my mates, but when I all of a sudden got into business and business became a high value, friendship wasn't all of a sudden a high value to me as much anymore. So the friends I just used to hang out with, I didn't have like a lot of connection with them. And then whenever we hung out, it was almost like there's nothing that we could talk. And so many of my friends would say the same thing. They said, now when I got into real estate, the people who don't talk about real estate, I find it genuinely hard to be around them. Right? And this happens a lot. Maybe for you, it's motherhood. Like if you're talking to someone, I want you guys to imagine this. The crowd and you guys, I want you guys to do this. Imagine this. Close your eyes for a second. And I want you guys to imagine that you walk into a party and you meet someone. And I want you to notice that whatever your values are, this person is not talking about that. So for you, Jess, this person is not talking about motherhood. This person is not talking about business. This person is not talking about any of your values or baking or cooking. And you, Poya, no one is talking about movies. No one is talking about personal development. And for whatever, the audience's values are, they are not talking about this. And open your eyes for a second. What you will find is while you're talking to them, this is what your eyes are doing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what you'll find is, this is what's really interesting. In your head, your brain is going, what should I say? What should I say? Right? But now, I want you guys to now imagine all of a sudden for you, Jess, while you're talking to them, all of a sudden this person just tells you, you say, well, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm actually going to this parenting conference. How much does your confidence and authenticity and energy boost up now?
Yeah.
So much.
Like, we have common ground.
We have common
Great.
ground. We have common value, right?
Yeah.
And same with you, Poya. Imagine you're talking to someone, all of a sudden they tell you that they're going to Comic-Con. How much does your inspiration now, energy now, get into the conversation?
Yeah.
A lot. A lot.
I'm actually paying attention. I don't need Ritalin.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is why it's really interesting, because it now really commands what your focus are. And this is a perfect example I like to give. It's like, I remember I was talking to one of my clients, and his kid just broke the door and just came into the room. And I'm just going to call his kid Emon, right? And Emon is running around in a circle. Emon's running around, and I'm trying to get Emon's attention. It's through Zoom, and I'm saying, Emon. And that kid is not listening to a word I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
And I knew at that time, I knew Emon's 3. I knew my son at the time was 3.
Yep.
And I thought, what does my son love? What are his highest values? Well, Spider-Man and Paw Patrol. Now watch this. This kid's running around, Emon, not even listening to me. Now all of a sudden I asked him this question. I said, Emon, what do you like more, Spider-Man or Paw Patrol? And this is him. Spider-Man. And I asked him, which one do you like? Spin. All of a sudden, he is fully focused. And this is basically what happens. When you're talking to people and they start talking about your values, you're tuned in. But if they're not talking or personal development or Christianity or fitness for you, and they're not talking about baking or motherhood or something for you, you are tuned out.
Yeah.
And this is why you feel better when you're talking to people who connect with you on your values.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, purpose becomes very, very important, because if you know what your highest values are, you can say, hey, if my highest value is yoga, I'm going to go to more yoga studios because I'm going to connect with people who share the same values as me. Right? So it helps you now identify the friends that you should hang out with. Choosing a partner, very, very important. Exactly the same thing.
So good. Yeah.
So me and Lisa, we didn't have much in common at all. But all of a sudden, when we got kids, we now have kids in common. We had God in common, and we connect so much more. But when we didn't share any values, we did not connect at all.
Wow.
right? And this is why, like, if you're able to find, once again, if you find a partner where you share more values together, the success of that relationship is based on how many values you share together. Full stop.
That's true.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Because you're more understanding of each other. You're more in your prefrontal cortex when you're talking to them. And it's not a conversation where it's like, oh, I'm talking about the thing that I like, but you don't care. And when you're talking about the things that you don't like, then I don't care. You're actually tuned in. And this is why it's very, very important to identify what your highest values are, which is your purpose, and then choose a partner based on those values. So now purpose goes from being woo-woo to, oh my God, helps me identify my career, helps me identify my friends, helps me identify my partner. Here's another big one, your relationship with money. This is a huge one. I can guarantee you there is no other reason why you are probably broke than understanding what your values are.
Yeah.
There is no other reason.
Preach.
The only reason why people are struggling with money is not because you don't have the latest investment strategy. It's not because you're not saving. It is only because of values. And here's why. If I go to a crowd and I ask them this question, if I say, who wants to be financially free? Who do you think is going to put up their hands? Everyone. If I say, right, because remember, what is values? Values means you don't just like it, you actually love it because you're acting on your values, right? So if I now say, keep your hands up if you are not spending on depreciables and consumables, you are investing, you are actively reading investing books, you're actively consuming investing content, you're actively going to investing seminars, how many hands do you think will go down? A lot of hands will probably go down. So a few people will have their hands up. Those people, because their actions are doing it, they actually value finance. So they're more likely to be financially successful because they actually value it. Okay? This is why now the quote, value travels from people who value it the least to value it the most. That quote now really starts to sink in.
Value travels from those who value it the most.
So money travels from people who value it the least to people who value it the most.
Who came up with that?
DeMartini.
Wow.
One of my mentors.
Yeah.
I need a bit more flesh on that.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember when, a perfect example of this is, I remember when I first started my kind of coaching business, and finance or money was not a high value to me at all. I didn't care about money. So guess what happened? I would be coaching and I'd be doing a lot of free coaching sessions. I didn't really care about money at all. And my coach came in there and he knew that's going to be a problem. So he told me to link, right, how money will benefit me in my highest values, right, of coaching. Well, it's going to help me coach better. I can invest in myself better. And all of a sudden, when I start to recognize how money, which is something that I didn't really care about, is all of a sudden really helping me in the area that I do care about, I ended up closing 75K that month.
Well done.
And I crushed it. All of a sudden,
Damn.
and the only reason why is because now I started really valuing money. So a lot of people, they think they want to be rich, but they don't actually have a high value on money. And this is very important. Here's how this comes into play. So imagine a mother has a high value on kids, as an example. And she doesn't really have a high value on money at all, or saving money or investing in money, right? Even if she's broke, a little bit of money that she gets when she should probably spend it on saving or investing on money, do you think she's going to spend it on that? No, she's going to spend it on her kids, because her kids is the highest value. So they're always going to spend their money and their time and their energy on the highest values. Here's a really, really interesting fact. Social media doesn't care about your Myers-Briggs. It doesn't care about your DISC personality. It doesn't care about Clifton's. It doesn't care about your Enneagram. The only thing it cares about is your values. Because if I scroll through my phone, it'll show me I like personal development content.
True.
Yeah, because that's where you're actually going to spend money.
That's where the algorithm is.
Yeah, the algorithm only cares about your values because that's where you actually spend money. Right? So isn't it now interesting that the same area that you spend your money on is the same area that you'd like to talk about, is the same area that you are really focused in, is the same area that you're consistent in, is the same area that you're most organized in. So there's a pattern. So this is why, if you do want to find what your highest values are, if you ask yourself the questions, where do I spend most of my time? Where do I spend most of my money? Where do I spend most of my energy? What do I like learning about? What am I most curious about? What do I always follow through on? There will be, every single time I've done this thousands of times now with thousands of people. Every single time there's a pattern that keeps coming up for them. That pattern is their highest value.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if people know what that pattern is, now they know what the job they should buy, they should have. They know what to study. They know what decisions to make. They know which friends they should hang out with. They know which partner they should choose. And here's another thing when it comes to values or purpose as well, it helps them overcome addiction. Because once again, if you're not engaging in something that's truly highly valuable to you, you're not engaging in your purpose, you will always go back to addiction. You'll notice every single person I've noticed who overcomes their addiction, they all of a sudden find gym. They all of a sudden become obsessed with movies. They all of a sudden become obsessed with creating music. How many times do we see that pattern? It's the only way to overcome your addiction is to find something that's meaningful, which only comes from your highest values.
Yeah.
So it helps you choose your career, your friends, your partner. It explains relationship with money, communication and influence. This is very, very big. So this is one of the biggest tips that I could possibly have. If you're an introvert, okay, and you don't want to do any of the work and you feel a little bit socially anxious, I'll give you the most powerful tip where you can use purpose or values in order to just get by. I'll give you an example. My highest value is personal development. Now, Poya or Jess, if you came up to me in a conversation and you just said to me, you were lazy and you were introverted and you were just like, I don't want to socialize today. I don't want to do any of the work. I don't want to talk. And you just came up to me and you said, Kevin, what are the 3 biggest lessons you've learned in personal development? You don't need to talk. I'm going to be talking for 24 hours. I will not shut up because you just need to keep asking me questions on personal development. I will not shut up, right? If I ask you about your kids, probably going to be the same situation. If I really keep asking about your kids and I show you about your kids, same thing, right?
Yeah.
If I start asking about Superman, you would die.
Yeah,
about
it's a sick
Superman.
movie that I really recommend you
I
all
didn't
watch
realize
it.
it was out.
Oh,
Only because of
it's
Chat Time.
so good.
Yeah.
Yuck.
So watch this. Watch his energy come
you
up.
can tell.
Yeah.
It's
Watch
happening
his
in real
energy come
time.
up. Watch my energy come up. I can tell value is not a high value to you. But when you're now talking about Superman, all of a sudden your energy completely rises up, right? Perfect example. I'll give you a perfect example of this. I remember we were at there was like a little bit of a life group that we had, and there was a couple that was hanging back, and the wife was talking to Lisa, and the husband was sitting there. It was like 9:30, and I could see his face. He was like, I just want to get out of here. I just want to get out of here. But he was too nice to say it. Now, I know this topic very well. So I knew that his high value was anime. So I go up to him and I just go, hey, what anime are you watching recently? Now, all of a sudden, what ended up happening is this guy starts getting so energized that she now starts trying to get him out of the house, right? Simply because I know what his highest values are. And this is how unbelievably powerful this topic is, right? And when it comes to influence, I'll give you a perfect example of how powerful it can come when it comes to influence. So my highest value is personal development. Lisa, her highest value is she loves looking at open homes and stuff. Now, she comes to me and she says, babe, I really want to go look at this open home together. And I don't really care about an open home, to be honest. I don't really care, to be honest. And a lot of guys get into this position. They have to do something their wife doesn't want to do. But my wife's smart because she knows this topic. So she goes, babe, don't you coach real estate agents? And I go, yes. And she goes, because if you come to this open home, you get to see the inside of how a real estate agent runs his process, and that's actually going to help you when it comes to coaching them, right? And I was like, that's actually very true. So now we have an activity. Now we have an activity where she gets to be fulfilled and I get to be fulfilled at the same time, and now we always do it, and no one is missing out. So what do you always see? You always see the guy sitting down while the girl is going shopping, and he has to pretend like he's into it, but he's not really into it, instead of realizing that both each other's values can actually serve each other. It's so powerful, right?
That's so good.
But yeah, what did you want to say about this, Jess?
Okay, so from a relationship standpoint, the Gottmans talk about creating a love map for your partner. So I think because people worry that, oh, we just grew apart or we don't have anything in common anymore. But for me, that's relationship atrophy. That's one person not putting the effort in. And so creating a love map is knowing what your partner's values are, basically. So Lisa knowing that Kevin's highest value is teaching personal development, and Kevin knowing that one of Lisa's highest values is looking at open homes for whatever reason. We don't know. I'd love to know from her. But when you're tuned into your partner's basically their inner world and what's on their radar, what's front of mind for them, then you add more flesh to your love. Like you are able to become closer together. And so something for me is like, I don't have a problem with pivoting, but I have the type of personality that can't commit and can't stay. And so that for me is where I think God's hand is on my life by going, yes, your value for this season is to commit and to stay. And that's a really good thing for me. Anyway, just wanted to mention that because I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, should I start that new thing? And they're afraid to start. They're more like the longevity and the comfort of staying in one thing for 10 years. Whereas for me, that's the hard thing to do. So I'm really proud of the fact that I've run a business for 10 years. But anyway.
It's huge to do that.
It is huge to do that.
Yeah, especially in the type of business that we do too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyway, love maps was my whole point.
Yeah.
And if you want to grow in love with the person you married, you won't grow apart if you're constantly tuned into their highest values.
Yeah.
Basically, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What you're teaching out.
And there's a really great intervention that Tony Robbins does where he's talking to this guy and he basically wants to go off and play guitar, but his wife almost like makes him feel really, really bad for it and makes him feel really, really negative for it. And he's kind of like, the thing that I love to do most, she's kind of like not letting me do. And Tony Robbins kind of coaches him. And what he gets him to realize is that he's not giving or caring about any of her values. So he goes, you fill that woman up completely for a 10 out of 10 in all of her values and make her feel like you care about her values, show that you care about her values, like acknowledge her values, like give to her values, support her values. And all of a sudden you see if your relationship doesn't change. And there's like a 6-month after shot. And all of a sudden, like what ends up happening is after this happens, she's like, you go to play guitar.
Yeah.
You go to do what you want to do. You go to want to do because she's filled up on her values.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And this is why values can be incredibly important because it becomes the construct in which to converse, in which to make decisions. It helps you understand absolutely everything. Yeah. And the last thing is this, right? When it comes to resilience and actual confidence, right? So for me, one of the things that I struggled with, many people don't know, I was kind of like forced to work in my dad's restaurant, okay, in the family business, and I hated it. Yeah. My dad would, go off at me in front of everybody. I just didn't like working in a restaurant all the time, smelling like curry all the time. It was so annoying. And I remember there was a period where I couldn't go another day. And I remember, this wasn't, obviously it's not a value for me. But at that time, what was becoming a value for me was fitness. And all my brother said to me, my brother just goes, I couldn't do another day. And all my brother did, he just said to me, he looked at me and he said, Kevin, just think of it like a workout. And what he did was he allowed me to link the thing that I don't want to do, which is going to the restaurant, to the thing that I do love to do, which is fitness. And all of a sudden, I was able to bear and put up with the restaurant for the next 3 years simply because he was able to help me recognize that the thing that I don't like to do can be connected to the thing that I do like to do. Right? Yeah, and this is another thing. Like a lot of people, they procrastinate. So the reason why people procrastinate is because when they're doing the thing that they don't like to do, maybe for me it's cleaning, it's like, I don't see how cleaning is going to help me in my business. But when I ask myself the question, how does cleaning serve me in my business? Well, if I clean, my wife's happy. If my wife's happy, I'm happy. If I'm happy, I can coach better. Boom, that's one link. If I clean, I feel more organized in the morning. If I feel more organized in the morning, that's going to actually help me in my business because it's going to give me momentum. And the more that we start to recognize how the things that we don't want to do are actually helping us in the thing that we do want to do, all of a sudden that we can do it. Yeah. And isn't that now insane? Because purpose can now accompany and impact so many other areas of our lives. Do you have any questions on that, by the way?
Yeah. I mean, okay, what's my lowest value right now? I'm just trying to think.
We can have multiple
doing
low
taxes. I freaking hate doing my tax. Hate it with a passion. So I
hate it too.
Tom just does it for me.
Why would you be motivated to lose money?
I know. And then the freaking tax accountants keep calling me. I'm like, just call my husband. Don't call me.
Yeah.
So that's one of my low values. I actually don't mind cleaning, which is really funny for me.
Yeah.
What else do I hate? Doing spreadsheets. Hate doing spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Do you like spreadsheets? You like them? Oh,
isn't that
great.
interesting? For one person that doesn't like something, there's always another person who genuinely actually enjoys it. Like, that's just crazy, right?
I love Excel.
Yeah. The link that I can make with Excel is being more organized in the business. So then I think, okay, I do like good systems. So I think that's how I can sell it to myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, how would I link doing
Yeah.
Excel spreadsheets with my
With-
highest value?
Okay, so this is
Assuming that business is a high value for me.
so first thing that we got to recognize is every single thing can be linked,
Yeah.
right? So if the first thing is if you're able to do something boring,
Yeah.
then it probably gives you it develops your discipline in doing the things that you don't want to do, which we have to do heaps. So that's going to help you in business.
Yeah.
So doing Excel spreadsheets, maybe it gives you an ability it just trains your ability to think critically. That's going to probably help you in business as well.
Cool.
Right? And just like that, I came up with a couple on the spot. If I ask ChatGPT, give me more, it'll come up with thousands and thousands.
Wow.
But the
Thank
whole
you,
idea is the link is there,
Yeah.
right? So if we're able to recognize how the thing that we don't want to do serves us in the things that we do want to do, all of a sudden we find it easier in order to do it, right? So purpose and where are we left, Nick?
Go for another
5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. We're almost done. But all of a sudden, just starting with Christians being confused about purpose, let me just kind of summarize a few things. Purpose is specific areas. We all have specific areas. You can ask yourself a set of questions. If you want to know more about that, you can ask me questions. But I can help you find what those specific areas are. And then you now know how to make decisions on your career, on your partner, why you're struggling with money, why you're struggling with addiction, why you self-sabotage, you know how to communicate with people, how to influence people, how to read people, resilience. It helps you with so many different things. Now, I just want to kind of end up with the kind of God thing now.
Yeah.
The whole idea is, this is what I discover, is that once again, every single time that we have values, we have the opportunity to either serve, ourselves or serve God with it. And I genuinely believe that life is about using our values to serve God. So for example, this is the kind of the line I came up with. Our ultimate purpose is to use our values to shine our light by being able to be a tribute to the creation of God and using that to spread the gospel. So there's so many examples of these celebrities that come to stage and then they give God thanks. Like recently I saw Stormzy, a creator that came on and shared like, I got here because of Jesus Christ. And so Washington, so many actors and different artists came up on stage and share that they actually really attribute their gratitude to Jesus Christ, So I genuinely feel like that's what our purpose is. It's to be the best in those areas, enjoy those areas because we're the best in those areas, and then use that area to bring glory to God. That's what I believe our purpose is.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Beautiful.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions?
I think a lot of pastors get purpose wrong.
Yes.
And I think
Why?
I think I'm speaking from the spiritual abuse sort of like the spiritual abuse plane where people felt really burnt out by serving in church all the time. And then when they would bring it up, it would be received as a complaint, like an annoying complaint. And the pastor would say something like, well, that's your cross to bear. And then sort of like over spiritualize exhaustion and burnout, which I thought was terrible. And I also think that there's a reason why the pendulum has swung now to Christianity and personal development and not just Christianity. Because people are attracted to certain mega churches because they're the best at preaching about life and linking the gospel to life. Anyway, it's just a thread that I have in my head. But yeah, the modern day church is on a bicycle of relevance. It's like it's trying to be more relevant to the modern person, because I feel like there are some people out there in the world like Jay Shetty or Mel Robbins or like all Tony Robbins or big personal development names who I think you're too smart to be a Christian. I know that sounds really terrible. I don't know.
The gospel is foolishness to the wise and wisdom to the foolish.
Yeah, exactly. There's some people who are, I just feel like too enlightened to be a Christian or too intellectual to be a Christian. And then I don't know what to do with those people. Like if I was a friend of them, how would I witness to them? Would I wait until they got diagnosed with terminal cancer and then and then they find the gospel, then they find Jesus. I don't know.
Wow.
Anyway, so I'm opening up a can
That's
of worms here right at the end.
that's really interesting because I've actually been reflecting on something similar to that as well.
Yeah.
I
I just feel like
Yeah.
all
No,
of
no.
us have some of us have very high profile friends.
Yeah.
Some of us are very just people who we admire intellectually, business wise, or whatever, and we just think you're too high echelon to believe in Jesus. I don't know what to do with that. So that's just where I'm at. Yeah.
So far, like, I mean, there's like, if I was to look at any other religion that claims the most amount of like high profile people in the world, it's Christianity, 100%. 100%.
You know,
The
we've
amount
got
of
Bieber,
great,
we've got-
bro, look at all the greatest scientists
Russell
and stuff
Brand.
like
yeah,
that.
okay. I was
the
thinking like the
besides
Saudi, like, you know, UAE, like business people who are like billionaires and all that.
Nah.
But you're probably right.
But
if
by
you add it all
influence.
up, oh, by influence, yeah. Okay.
By influence, yeah.
Sure.
But if you're talking specifically by riches,
Yeah,
but then
by
again,
influence-
yeah, a lot of them are conservatives. A lot of the richest people in the world are conservatives.
Yeah.
What does that mean? By conservatives.
That God wins. That's what that means.
well, there was actually a recent reel that I watched, and a guy who's kind of breaking down how conservatives versus liberals, and he was saying conservatives are usually the ones who are doing more financially better. This is what he said, and then he said the interesting thing is when they did a study, and liberals often put their locus of control outside themselves.
Wow.
So they always say, "Oh, it's because of the government. It's because of this. It's because of that."
Yep.
Whereas conservatives will always say,
Take personal
"Take personal
responsibility." Yeah.
And they said there's a study on that actually happening, and then there's the study that the correlation that usually conservatives have much better mental health as well.
Yeah.
So it's like if there's any other like argument against like, you know what I mean? But anyway, I don't want to go into that conversation.
No, that's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dennis Prager says religious people are the happiest.
Oh yeah.
He claims to have studies on it. Anyway, I don't. Yeah.
I believe
don't know.
that.
Yeah,
Sure.
and that's the original
Yeah.
point. I genuinely believe that, like philosophy can go really, really. It really reminds me of that verse that says he will confound the wisdom of the wise, and then
Yeah, he will frustrate the wisdom of the
wise or something like that. And the idea is like if I see anyone who just goes on their own like manhunt, they end up mentally like screwed up. But if you see someone who just goes, you know what, I give it all to God, I surrender to God.
Yep.
It's like, who do I know who's like that, who's completely, really, genuinely done that, and who has bad mental health? Like, I don't know many people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like almost anyone in history who's just completely surrendered to God has just always been like beast. Yeah.
It's
I
a
don't know if
form
I agree with that actually.
I mean, there's always going to be like...
Sorry, because I know
there's-
people like that who have terrible mental health.
of interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know if they've genuinely done that, though.
No, they genuinely have, but like I think you have to define what good mental health is.
Yeah.
I want to be specific.
Another
you know, 'cause
conversation.
Yeah, but I
for
think that's
another day.
important
Yeah,
though, because I've met people who do that, but
Yeah.
like have anger issues.
Yeah.
So they trust God, but they don't have anxiety about life, but like they get triggered.
Mm.
So I think it's important.
But
to,
are they giving those triggers to God? That's
I don't even
another
think
thing.
they know they're being triggered because their mental health's so bad.
Right.
You need self-awareness to do that. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
a really
I think,
good-
I think,
yeah,
I think,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think it sounds nice on paper to say that.
Yeah.
I don't. I have to say.
Oh
I
no,
don't
but
agree with it.
I think there's with any
I think there's less
generalization,
anxiety.
there's always going to be exceptions.
I think there's less anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just personally can't say for myself that I believe that you would have better mental health.
Yeah,
But I that's just
Maybe that's
decision I want to
another-
make.
that's
that could be
another-
another episode.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. I feel like we could get
Bring
into
your
that.
studies, boys. And then
Yeah,
let's
for sure,
debate.
for sure. We will. But guys, I just want to summarize that. Yeah, once again, if you're listening to it, purpose is specific areas. You can find it with yourself, and then you can use it to make decisions on every area of life. And that is your purpose. And your purpose is to use those values to shine our light, to be a contributor to the creation of God, and using that to spread the gospel. So it is not woo-woo. It is not necessarily only serve Jesus with it, or just serve Jesus. It is the how to the serving Jesus, how you serve Jesus. It's the talents that you use in order to serve Jesus. That's purpose. If you guys have any more questions, give it to me. Otherwise, it's Kevin Porrage. It's
Booyah, Daddy Show here.
Jessica Santos, a Carlton of Datability.
thank you so much. Bridges of Belief. Love you. Bye.